Is the leopard gecko hobby dead? Deceased? Has it declined from all of its glory? In this video, we are going to cover why I think the leopard gecko hobby has plateaued and how I think it can summit once again. This is Drizzle, and she's going to be one of the reasons why I think the leopard gecko hobby has a reason not to die. Selling in the billions each year, Rainbow Mealworms is your one-stop shop for all your insect needs. Their quality feeders and A+ customer service keep me coming back to support the health and growth of all of our animals. Visit them today at rainbowmealworms.net to place your order. All right, now back in the early 2000s, leopard geckos started to gain popularity in the hobby. As more morphs came out, they sort of hit their peak around 2010 or so before they plateaued. There was a few big name breeders in the hobby at that time, such as Matt Sasselbeck, Ron Tremper, the Godfather, Mark Bell, where the Bell albino line derives from, something Rainwater, because I think all these guys just named their lines after themselves, which is pretty funny if you think about it. And there was a few breeders that are breeding today, but not focusing on leopard geckos. Believe it or not, we had Bob Vu on an interview here, who's a great ball python breeder. He works with some of the top quality stuff, and he's one of the top in the game right now. So check out that video in the top right corner here if you want to see that interview. But he told me he paid his way through college with selling leopard geckos. They were making $500 off enigmas back then and combos, and things were going good. So what happened? Garrick DeMeyer, he had a previous YouTube channel called Crested Gecko. He also had a previous website called Crested Gecko, but he was one of the largest leopard gecko breeders in the world, and he gave it up for ball pythons. And his reason was it was a lot of work for less money. So he still keeps some as a hobby, but from a business perspective, he focuses on ball pythons. It's less work and more money. Then there was JMG Reptile, who still is a huge influence in the leopard gecko world today, but he kind of transitioned out of focusing on leopard geckos more into hognoses and other things that grabbed his passion. For him, I think it was a passion thing. For Bob and for Garrick, I think it was partly a business thing. And then also I have a good friend out here named John of Extreme Dragons AZ. Check him out. He's got some of the best and reddest bearded dragons in the hobby. And he told me he started with leopard geckos, but couldn't really find a footing for sales and consistency. So the common thread with all of these guys leaving the leopard gecko hobby is sales and consistency, and that kind of took away passion out of the mix. You got to be passionate whenever you're breeding in large mass like this, because like right now, even though I'm shooting this video, I still have hours of cleaning to do and hours of editing to do. And if you can't make a living out of it, or if you don't have the passion to continue to try to pursue making a living out of it, it's gonna fall away. So there's three main reasons why I think leopard geckos have kind of plateaued. They're still the #1 selling lizard in the world, along with bearded dragons, and now crested geckos are starting to inch into that zone as well. But why has the allure, the buzz, the passion, why has that died out for the leopard gecko hobby compared to its glory days? Reason number one, the projects stopped. Creativity around creating new projects and new ways to keep the hobby interesting stopped. Therefore, interest in the species in general sort of plateaued, which leads into topic number two, promotion. If you're not interested in something, you're not going to promote it. And whereas 99.99999% of ball python breeders took the challenge of social media and used it to their advantage and went into YouTube and went into TikTok and went into Instagram, 99% of leopard gecko keepers did not do that. They stayed on Facebook and therefore plateaued, because Facebook is a plateaued market. Facebook hasn't done anything new in the last 10 years or so to grab new people onto their platform. But Instagram has, YouTube has, and TikTok has, along with maybe Twitter and some other stuff, but I don't really do Twitter. But YouTube is where it's at. YouTube is the second most popular search engine in the world. You know what #1 is? Google. And if you Google leopard geckos, guess what they're gonna do? Recommend YouTube videos. So if you're not on YouTube, you're already losing promotion right there. So reason #1 kind of leads into reason #2. Interest died out because people stopped creating new projects for the leopard gecko hobby, and therefore promotion died out. People were not making a living out of it. People were not creating YouTube videos and Instagram and really pushing that side of promotion. There's a little bit of that. I'm not going to say that that doesn't exist, but compared to what it could be, it's so low. And topic number 3, a lot of the big players in the leopard gecko hobby, they kind of have a snobby attitude towards people coming into the hobby. I got this when I first started coming into the hobby, all excited about leopard geckos. I had a lot of the bigger guys like pushing their heel on me, like trying to subdue me under their command and make me follow exactly what they wanted me to do. Instead of giving me a chance that I had already done my own research, that I'm my own person, that I have the right to make my own decisions, they took the approach, if you're not going to listen to me, you're not worthy of this community. And I can't tell you how many leopard gecko breeders told me that my love and my passion for leopard geckos is not valuable in the community because I don't listen to them. That is a terrible approach that will absolutely push people away. And when you push people away, again, plateau. So 3 reasons that kind of tie into each other. Reason number 1, people stop being creative with new projects and new things to do in leopard geckos. That led into reason number 2. People left the hobby because they were no longer interested, which led to reason number 3, there's no longer a lot of breeders, which leads to a lack of reason number 2, promotion. So all 3 of these tie in. The biggest names in the hobby, some of them might be scared of competition, but competition actually grows the industry. It grows the hobby as a whole, and that is a very, very good thing. Think about it. If competition was a problem, McDonald's would be out of business because Burger King or Taco Bell would take over. How many different fast food chains do excellent, and how many fast food chains set up shop right next to each other? Every time you see a McDonald's, you'll see a Burger King on the opposite corner. Every time you see a Burger King, you'll see a Taco Bell in the same parking lot. They did a really interesting study. I can't remember what it was for. I think it was for like a towel renting service or something like that. Now hear me out. It doesn't matter what it was for. On the beach, they told themselves, okay, we want people to rent our towels so we can make money. We're gonna set towels up here at this part of the beach, here at this part of the beach, and down here at this part of the beach. They started to experiment with keeping the towel booth in just one section of the beach. And when they experimented with that, they found out that their sales for towel rentals went up instead of down. Now you might think, why would sales go up when you solidified to one position? Wouldn't people not find out about that towel booth then? No. The answer is actually opposite. When everything that you want is located in one place, that's where the most sales happens. So it's not a bad thing for the leopard gecko hobby to have hundreds of breeders. Look at the ball python hobby. The ball python hobby has hundreds of breeders, yet it's the most sustainable hobby in all of the reptile industry. It is literally in the millions, if not billions of dollars of gross revenues that is generated every year just in the ball python hobby alone. So what is the leopard gecko hobby lacking? It's lacking all of these 3 things that I have mentioned right now. People stopped coming up with creative projects, therefore interest died off and promotion died off, therefore new breeders died off, and also new breeders were kind of shunned away. Now all the people that are left in a leopard gecko hobby, they get controlling and possessive, like this is our hobby and you can't come in unless we say so, which has kept the leopard gecko hobby at a plateau as well. But there is good news. There are breeders in the hobby right now that are starting to do the opposite of what those larger breeders did, and they are fulfilling all of these categories. We're coming up with creative new ideas, like the Black Knight gene to mess around with. We are promoting, we're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and therefore interest is starting to generate and more people are starting to spend more money in the hobby. Because if you think about it, the larger breeders make most of their money off of smaller breeders that are wanting to become aspired breeders. It's the same model in the ball python world. The top end ball python people are making most of their millions of dollars from mid and low tier breeders that are aspiring to become a breeder. Now there is a natural fall off rate. Not every aspiring breeder becomes a breeder. However, that person has already spent thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars with those bigger breeders aspiring to become a breeder themselves. What I'm saying is the bigger guys in this industry right now, they should not fear the little guys coming in. A matter of fact, they should support the little guys coming in because the little guys is what's paying their mortgage. Is that a little too harsh to say? No, it's the truth. And again, I'm not afraid of releasing this information because the more people get it in their heads that they could become a breeder too, the more successful the hobby will be. So what did you think about this video, guys? I know it's a little bit controversial. I got some blue and orange in the background here to represent my East Coast colors of the Mets. Yeah, go Mets, baby. But I like to touch on the controversial topics sometimes. I think it's all part of the industry and being engaged in the industry. And I don't know, it's just such a wonderful hobby. Like, why not talk about things? Why not stir things up a little bit? Because whenever you stir things up a little bit, once the dust settles, you typically have more than before things were stirred up. More followers, more interest, more people in the hobby. So why not? It's not completely bad. But thank you guys for entertaining me in this episode and allowing me to vent a little bit some of the ideas that are floating around in this head of mine. What do you think? Am I wrong? Am I somewhat right? Are there different places that you might offer your feedback or correction on? Let me know in a comment below. That severely helps. It also creates new topics for me to talk about in the future and to react to. So thank you guys so much. Drizzle is over here just looking absolutely gorgeous, and she will hopefully be ready to breed for us here in the next few months. Thank you guys. I love you. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, have a geeky gecko great day. Peace.